Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from Grady Tech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing and doing a complete review of the Motorola Edge 50 Pro. Now it's been a month since this phone has been launched and I've been using this phone for quite a few days. So with a quick unboxing, I'll directly get into the review. Now this phone is available in two variants in India. It starts at 32,000 rupees for 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Next variant is priced at 36,000 rupees for 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. It's available in three colors: Luxe Lavender, that's slightly purple; Moonlight Pearl, that's creamy I would say; and finally Black Beauty, that's completely black. Even after a month, you still get 2,000 rupees instant discount from various banks, so that brings the effective price around 30,000 rupees for the base variant. Now let's look at the unboxing. Now here's the box once again. It's in the cardboard brown color. It's a simple box, that's it. Probably made of recyclable material, and it says plastic free packaging on the side. By the way, this is the 12GB variant and we get a 125W charger inside the box. For the 8GB variant, we get a 68W power adapter. Now let's unbox it. First, there's a smaller box inside the lid. Next, there's the phone, followed by the charger. I'll come back to it in a minute. Next, we have the USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable. Now this is the huge 125W charger. This is probably the fastest charger that you can get from Motorola. Now for the smaller box, there's some documentation, SIM card ejector tool, a hard bumper case. This is a bumper case for the black color. That's why it has a tint of black. But if you get the blue or white, you get different colors for the cases as well. Now let me just put everything aside and come back to the phone. Now this is how the phone looks on the front, and this is how the phone looks on the back. Now for the review, I'll start with the design and build. Now this phone comes with a vegan leather finish on the back, which feels really good to hold. And as it's black, it doesn't retain any stains. And as of now, it isn't attracting any smudges either. By the way, this bumper case that we get also has a nice matte finish, so it doesn't attract a lot of fingerprints as well. And it also provides decent protection and grip as well. Now back to the phone, the entire finishing of this phone is really top notch. I also like the camera module. You also get that vegan leather finish around the cameras. And at the center, we have the Motorola logo. Now on the front, we get a beautiful looking curved display. I personally like curved displays and it really looks premium. And this is how the phone looks once we turn it on. It has really super slim bezels all around, just like you can expect from any flagship. Now coming to the sides, the entire frame is made of brushed aluminum, so that's definitely good for extra protection. On the right side, we get the power and volume buttons. Buttons are made of metal, they have a nice clicky feel to them, and they're also sufficiently elevated. On the right side, just below the power button, we also got a secondary mic. On the top, it says Dolby Atmos, and we got an additional mic for noise cancellation. On the left side, it's completely plain. And finally at the bottom, we got the SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots. There's no SD card option. That's followed by the USB Type-C charging port, which by the way is USB version 3.1. And that's followed by the speaker grill. Now this phone has a thickness of 8.19mm and weighs 168 grams. It also comes with IP68 water and dust resistance. I personally don't have any complaints with the design. Like, it's really top notch, like a flagship. If I have to rate it, I'll definitely give it a 10 out of 10. Now coming to the display, this one comes with a 6.7-inch Super HD OLED display with 1.5K resolution with a peak brightness of 2000 nits. It also has HDR10+ support and it's protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5 according to some rumors. Well, we didn't find it on the official website anyway. It also has DC dimming. This display is also the world's first true color Pantone validated display in any smartphone. Like, the colors that you see on this phone are like the true colors, but in my personal opinion, colors do look a bit saturated. Like, they are not oversaturated, but they are slightly saturated. That can be expected with other AMOLED phones and OLED phones as well. Now, as it's a curved display, I did have some accidental touch issues like with any other curved display. Besides that, I have no complaints with the display. Like, it's super bright, sunlight eligibility is great, and touch responsiveness is also pretty good. And you also have this one-handed mode where you can just pull it down and use it single-handedly as well, so that's pretty convenient. And you can use it very comfortably single-handedly as well. So once again, in terms of display, I'll probably give a 9 out of 10, and 9 because I really prefer AMOLED displays. Overall, it's a pretty good display, no major complaints. Now coming to the cameras, this phone comes with the best camera setup. At least that's what everyone says. It comes with a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel primary camera with optical image stabilization, 10 megapixel camera with telephoto lens which offers 3x optical zoom and optical image stabilization, and that's followed by a 13 megapixel wide angle camera. And for selfies, you also get a 50 megapixel camera. Now these cameras are great and they do take great pictures. Check out my camera review for complete information and more sample shot, but here's the gist. For the price, cameras are definitely pretty good, but not the best in the price segment. Like, Vivo and iQOO offers better cameras in the same segment. And on this phone, we have something new called image preference. Like, you can choose between auto enhanced and natural colors. Natural colors are a bit too natural. Like they look a bit dull and washed out, and auto enhanced images look a bit oversaturated. You can check out these sample shots and you can see the difference. We also have this horizon lock feature which can lock your subject in the frame, and you can just tilt your phone like this and your subject is still locked. It's definitely a pretty unique feature. Video recording looks great on both the front and rear cameras, and it comes with adaptive stabilization which can further stabilize the footage. Footage definitely looks much stable. You can record 4K video on both the front and rear cameras, but only at 30 FPS. And stabilization even at 4K resolution is pretty good. Like cameras are pretty good for the price, but they're not the best. And the wide angle camera on this phone is just like average wide angle camera like any other phone. It's not too impressive, it's not completely bad either. Like it's just there. In good lighting conditions it performs well. In low lighting conditions it's not able to compete with the primary camera. Overall for cameras, I'll give an 8 out of 10. Now coming to performance, this phone sports a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor with Adreno 720 GPU with up to 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Now this phone comes with UFS 2.2 storage. Now for a normal user that doesn't matter, but if you're a gamer, you'll notice that transferring files is slightly slower than other phones, and opening apps, especially games like PUBG, BGMI or Genshin Impact, like bigger games, will take a bit more longer than other phones in this price segment. So that would be the major difference, but as I've said, for a normal user it's not going to be a problem. Now coming to the performance, I'll say you can divide it as a normal user and a gamer. If you're a normal user, performance is pretty good, everything is really smooth, and you can play smaller games without any issues. Now for gamers who play games like BGMI, Call of Duty or Genshin Impact, I'll not recommend this phone. First of all, the curved display is not really suitable for playing games, and the processor on this phone is not that powerful. And finally, there are no additional software features to improve your gaming experience. Like phones from iQOO, Vivo, Oppo, Realme and OnePlus offer you additional gaming related features which can enhance your experience, but this phone doesn't. Like it just gives you basic features to take screenshots and record footage, block calls, that's it. Besides that, there isn't any fancy features related to gaming. So for light gaming it's definitely okay, but for high-end gaming it's not recommended. You can play games like Genshin Impact or Call of Duty on this phone without any heating issues, but the experience won't be the best in the price segment. So overall for performance, I would say 9 out of 10 for a normal user and 7 out of 10 for a gamer. Now these are all the sensors that this phone comes with. Literally it's not missing out on anything. Now coming to connectivity, it supports dual SIM. There's no SD card slot. This does support 5G and these are all the bands that it supports. We have dual 4G, 4G VoLTE E. It comes with Wi-Fi version 6E and Bluetooth version 5.4. And surprisingly, this phone also comes with NFC and you can use it for contactless payments. This is definitely a USP for this phone. Like other phones in this segment, even with better performance, doesn't come with NFC. So this is going to be a selling point. Next, this phone also comes with an in-display fingerprint scanner, which works really well. And every time you unlock the phone, you also get a slight haptic feedback that also feels good. By the way, haptic engine on this phone, I would say is pretty good. It's not super or awesome, but it's pretty good. But the haptic engine itself is not too strong. It's slightly on the gentler side. I'll probably give a 7 out of 10 for haptic engine. As for fingerprint scanner, it works really well, a 9 out of 10. Now, we also have the face unlock feature. It works okay in good lighting conditions, but when it's in low lighting conditions or complete darkness, it's pretty slow. So I would recommend you to use the fingerprint scanner instead. Now coming to the software department, this phone is running on a custom skin UI called Hello UI. Now this is just like stock Android, but with few additional features. Now this is how the home screen looks like. This is the app drawer. Right out of the box, there's no bloatware at all. My first impression was like, where are the apps? Like it was pretty empty. Now here's the notification panel. This is the settings page. Now here's the about page. This phone is running Android 14 right out of the box. This phone will get 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of security updates, which is pretty good. And right out of the box, it has a March security patch, which is okay. As for storage, we get about 237GB of space free right out of the box. Now, just like other Motorola phones, this phone comes with pure stock Android experience with all those fancy Moto gestures. Like you can just do a chop gesture to toggle the torch, do a flip to open the camera. So you still have those gestures, you have adaptive display. And additionally, we have some new features like game acoustic lights, which simply lights up the edges while you're gaming. You have something called Moto Unplugged, which is like a focus mode, which can keep you less distracted. You also have something called Moto Family Space. This is something new. You can create small spaces like an office space, kid space, and once you turn on the space, all the applications will be killed or stopped and you'll have access to only few applications. This is definitely an interesting feature that you might want to try out. Next, we have Secure Folder, just like on Samsung. So in the Secure Folder, you can hide your files, photos, videos, and you can even secure your applications as well. You can use it like a dual app as well. So it's definitely a pretty cool feature. Motorola has also added a new AI wallpaper feature, but I'll say it's pretty much trash or pretty disappointing. I would say just completely ignore it. Now coming to the software optimization, I'll say it's about 90 to 95% done. Like I can still find smaller bugs here and there, but overall software experience is pretty good. Like everything for the most part of the usage was buttery smooth. You know, it's stock Android and the animations look very, very fluid. So I really had a good experience with that. But sometimes, like 1 out of 10 times or 1 out of 20 times, I can see slight stutters and jitters sometimes. It doesn't happen every time and it doesn't happen frequently, but it stutters sometimes. Now, as for heating issues, I forgot to mention about that. Check out my gaming review for more information, but there are no heating issues on this phone. In my heating test, which was done in a room with an AC at 26 degrees, maximum temperature I've seen was 37, which was okay. So guys, overall in the software department, I'll say 9 out of 10. If Motorola can further optimize it, then I'll definitely give it 10 out of 10. Now coming to the audio department, there's no audio jack on this phone. That's gonna be a con. Besides that, it has dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, and it also has spatial sound by Motorola. And the speakers do sound great. They're super loud and they're great for watching videos and playing games as well. Here's a quick preview. So for speakers, I'll give an 8 out of 10. Now coming to the battery department, this phone comes with a 4500 mAh battery. It's not huge, but it's pretty big for the size. Like look at how thin this phone is. So for the overall form factor, it's definitely pretty big. It comes with a 125 watt turbo power charger if you get the 12GB variant, and a 68 watt power adapter if you get the 8GB variant. And this one also supports 50 watts wireless charging and 10 watts reverse wireless charging. Now this wireless charging feature is a premium flagship feature, but Motorola has brought it in a phone around 30,000 rupees. I wish other brands could do it as well. As for screen on time, I got about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time depending upon my usage. Battery life isn't that impressive, but charging speeds are pretty good. Like you can charge your phone from 0 to 100% under 20 minutes, and you also have wireless charging, so that's a huge plus for convenience. So in the battery department, for battery life I'll give 8 out of 10, but for wireless charging I'll give 10 out of 10. So guys, Motorola Edge 50 Pro is definitely a pretty good phone, but it's not for everyone. So if you're a normal user who's gonna use features like contactless payments and wireless charging, I would definitely recommend you the Motorola Edge 50 Pro. But if you don't use these two features and you like to play games, then you can just skip this phone and consider iQOO Neo 9 Pro. Neo 9 Pro comes with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, 120 watt fast charging, and a flat display with a lot of cool features for gamers. With that said, there's no NFC and no wireless charging as well. So at the end of the day, it depends on your usage. So guys, what do you think about this new Motorola Edge 50 Pro? Do let us know by commenting below this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike button. It still helps us. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. See you next time.